Hi all of you. So this is Gil. So on this video, I'm gonna talk about what if somebody gave me $10,000 in 1990 when I was 20 years old. Back in 1990, what if I received $10,000 in the year 1990? What if? Well, the first thing that I can remember that I liked or that I had the wish for back then, it was to buy. I know one thing that was on my wish list in 1990. It was a brand new Elite 150 scooter Honda. I mean, it would have been probably it would have been like a 1986 model, or 87 or something, but they would have been selling them in 1989. They used to do that. So that was on my wish list. The price of one of those was like about 1698 if I remember, because I remember back in the late 80s they used to how you call it, they had Elite 80s for 1398 in those days. So an Elite 80. But on my wish list it was a brand new Elite 150 scooter, so that would have been about close to $2,000 right there. And another thing on the wish list would have been a new camcorder. I would have wanted a new VHS camcorder because back in that time, 1990, it was this camcorder that had just barely came out. It was an RCA VHS. It was like the next model of the VHS cams. The color was tan, and I wanted one of those. I wanted to buy one, but it was $1,000 at the time. But I mean, at the time, I would have bought one of those, but making $5 an hour and with all these things that would always come up, expenses, like working on my old scooter or cars or whatever, or helping my mom, whatever. I didn't really have much of a chance of being able to save $1,000 back then, because something will always come up. But on my wish list, if I was going to get $10,000, if someone gave me $10,000 in 1990, those are two things that would come to my mind. First things that come to my mind that I can remember what I wanted or what I liked in those days. It was a brand new Elite 150 for $1698 and a brand new camcorder, like the latest one. And then I would imagine if I would have got those, I probably would have been wanting to sell my old camcorder and my old scooter, but probably would have gotten a little bit of money for them. But that was on my wish list. Other thing that was on my wish list was a Genesis at the time. It was at the time, well, I didn't have a Genesis. I did buy one later on that year, but on my wish list, it was a Genesis, and to buy 1,000,000 games for it. If I would have been given $10,000 in those days, I would have bought a Genesis and like 1,000,000 games. I probably would have went out there and bought like 20 games for them for like $50 each. And I would have went for the best ones or the most popular ones, whether I liked them or not. But I probably would have ended up playing them, and then I probably would have been on a shopping frenzy with video game consoles and probably like a Nintendo. And well, I would have got like my own Nintendo and things like that. And then and those are the immediate things. And maybe another thing I would have had on my wish list was like a new Atari computer, because I had the Atari 800 XL at the time. I still have that computer, by the way. I mean, I still have that one. But in today's time, 2022, I still have it. Yeah. But anyway, in 1990, if someone would give me $10,000, then along with all those things I just mentioned, I would have wanted to get a computer, like a new computer, and then I would have wanted to get a bunch of accessories and a bunch of games for it, You know, I would have went out there, probably would have spent maybe $500 because at the time, you know, a disk drive for the computer was like almost $200 in those days, you know. And then games, I would have looked for accessories and stuff, you know. I would have spent a lot of money on things like that, electronics, you know, game system, consoles, and I would have wanted my own 13-inch color TV and my own VCR, like a really nice one, you know. Those are things that I would have went to spend money on, and by miraculously, I probably would not have thought about buying any new cars, but actually that's another thing that would be on my wish list back in 1990. It was a brand new 1989 Nissan Sentra, because I liked those cars back then, you know, or even a pickup truck too. Like I liked the Nissan pickup truck. If someone would have given me $10,000, that probably would have been on my wish list too, like to buy a brand new Nissan pickup truck. And because back then you were able to buy those for about $10,000, you know, back in the day. I mean, a Nissan Sentra, we were able to buy those for like $79.99, you know, although it was stripped down, but we were still able to buy a brand new car in 1990 for like $69.99 sometimes, you know. I probably would have went for one of those if someone would have gave me $10,000, you know. Yeah, so those were the things that I would have bought, I would have had in my wish list with that. So now, if we're gonna compare that with today, if someone gave me $10,000, what would I do with it? Well, in today's times, my my thoughts of how to use money is different now than as compared to when I was a kid. Because when we're kids, we tend to want to find something to spend money on. But since I'm an older guy now, I'm older now. I'm 52 years old, I am. So, I mean, in today's times, it's changed. So, if I was going to get $10,000 gift, or win the lottery for $10,000 or whatever, you know, the first thing that would come to my mind is just, I mean, nothing really. I mean, I would just put it in my savings account, because I don't have anything to buy, because I already have everything I like. I already have everything I want. I mean, all the items I have, my cameras, I already have all the stuff I want. I mean, so I don't need it. I mean, okay, not to mention these cars, you know, that I have a million of, you know, like the ones that we pay. These cars that I paid $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 each or whatever, that kind of stuff, you know. But I had these cars for a while anyway, a lot of them anyway. So anyway, but I mean, but if I had to buy something, if someone gave me $10,000 and I had to buy something, and they told me, but I have to buy something, what would I buy with $10,000? If someone told me I had to buy something, well, my first thoughts would probably be a really nice electric bike. Probably a nice electric bike with a long range, very long range, and something that I can use to maybe go to work with it, you know, maybe. But what's other things that I would buy with, like, if I had $10,000? What would be another thing I would buy? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, you know. Maybe I would probably fix up some of the cars that I have, like paint jobs or something. So, yeah. But in reality, I mean, I honestly don't know what I would have, what I would use $10,000 to buy if I had to buy something. The only thing that I can think of, and maybe more camera, like more 360 cameras or some, or extra, like maybe a couple $1,000s worth of equipment for YouTube, I guess. I mean, maybe, I mean, but I realistically, I'm happy with what I have. So, I mean, so in reality, I mean, for the most part, I mean, if I didn't have to buy anything, I would just put it all into savings. So, yeah, I mean, so there you have it. Okay, well, I hope you liked this video. That's just a fun video I made just for fun on what would I do, what would I have done if someone gave me $10,000 in 1990. You know, that was interesting there. I mean, yeah. All right. I'll see you. Today is November 12th, 2022. Hope you have a good day. And I'll see you on the next video.